Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. I am Jess. I am one of your hosts for Anime Book Club. We will be going through the latest episodes of several anime that are currently airing right now. You can see most of them on Crunchyroll. I've got to combine them. Crunchyroll, Verve, or Funimation. Pretty much everything we watch is on one of those platforms. And yeah, can't wait to talk to you about them. Fair warning, there will be spoilers basically all the way through for the newest episodes, except for the ones that aired today. This is spoilers through yesterday. That would be Wednesday, the 24th of February. So if you're not caught up on something, just mute us during that segment or, look away, come back. But we got opinions and you're going to hear them. All right, Erik, you ready?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey.
Welcome back,
All right.
Erik.
Another week, another what? How many shows you watching? Another 15
Another
shows?
ridiculously large amount of shows that we're watching. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, heads up to everybody watching. I apologize in advance, but I'm totally going to eat crab rangoons on stream because they just came in and stream has
How
started,
dare
but I'm
you?
going to eat crab rangoons.
How dare you?
Just saying, crab rangoons. They're my favorite crab rangoons
All
from
right,
Wingnuts
next week
around.
I'm eating sushi on stream just out of spite.
Do it! Do it! I believe in you. And crab rangoon.
Oh my god.
All right.
All right.
Higurashi. So you got to tell me a lot of backstory about Higurashi so I can look crab rangoon and talk about it.
Okay, so this week we get to see Satoko more at the school, and we get to get a better, I guess, glimpse into why she was just so mad there, and just was not
No,
happy doing her
I
work
wasn't
there.
sympathetic to her. I wasn't sympathetic to her last week, but I am this week because they basically kidnapped her and put her in a prison cell. They put her in
Okay,
solitary confinement.
okay, I don't have any
What?
issues with that school except for that part. That part is weird. I don't know why they have an actual holding cell in their basement. Because at that point, if you need that, why don't you just expel the student? Like, I don't know why she didn't get expelled for dropping metal pots and having someone bleed in the middle of the hallway. I don't quite understand why
That's her
that didn't.
fault, man. Yeah, she should have been expelled for that, but they should be brought up on charges for literal kidnapping, holding her against her will. Like, oh my
Yeah,
god, and a child. She's underage.
yeah. So I was 100% on board with this school. I agree to all their takes on all their stances until we got to that point. I'm still want to like give them the benefit of the doubt, but that's hard to justify. Um, so after that, I think Satoko now thinks that Rika sold her out because
Mm-hmm.
one of the students was like, "Oh yeah, I happened to she overheard Rika saying that Satoko is such a great prankster," and so now it seems Satoko uh, is now met up with Featherine. One second, let me plug my headset.
Yep.
All
So
right,
we're gonna talk about Featherine because Erik was like, "Oh, Featherine is in this." I'm like, "What? Who?
yeah.
Please explain."
So so Higurashi and Yumi Neko are made by the same guy, or I'm not sure if it's a guy, but same person. And so they're in the same universe, but the writer has like gone out of his way to say, oh yeah, they're in the same universe, and all the characters look just like each other. But it's not the same. And for years, the writer has been like, no, 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 it's not the same. Even though some of the characters even have the same name, like there's a character in Yumi Neko named Frederica that looks exactly like Rika and has like the same backstory as Rika. So we all knew it was they really were connected, but now it seems like they definitely are connected. Um, um, the girl that just got introduced, Featherine, is kind of like the Yumi Neko version of Hanyu, which is the little spirit that follows Rika around. And so it seems like Featherine is now crossing over to the world of Higurashi. And and if she's crossing over, that means the other witches might be doing the same too, because everyone kind of has their own counterpart in Yumi Neko. And Frederica will be Rika's kind of counterpart, and she's kind of like the big one of the big bad witches in that storyline.
So do you think this is like a multiverse thing where now they've been pulled into another time space continuum universe here? I mean,
So I don't think it really should count as a multiverse because it should be the same universe because in terms of timeline, Yumi Neko takes place 3 years after Higurashi, And it seems, and so the way the two shows have been taking place, it seems that after Rika like got out of the time loop, like she kind of pulled like a Monica Homura type deal, where like the combined magical powers of all her experiences kind of like combined, and it created like an alter ego for herself called Birkenstell, Frederica Birkenstell. And so it seems like the writer has just been like, I don't know, I don't know if you, I don't know. For some reason, he's constantly denied that the two are connected, even though it's been completely obvious the whole time. And now this is, I guess, the big reveal moment that like his two shows are the same universe and like they have the same characters. So I don't know what Frederica's gonna do, but she's not a good guy. And so it seems like whatever she has planned, Satoko is just gonna go along with it. And she might have been what has been, I guess, giving Satoko bad advice on how to handle this situation? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't understand Sadako last week and her going crazy and leading to this. But after the kidnapping, I kind of do. Like, I get you. I get where she's going with this. Like, at least a little bit. It's more understandable, but it's good to have the backstory. PZ said,
more understandable, but I still hate Satoko.
Fair enough. If you were in the chat, PZ said, "I'm so pleased this is a mukbang." Or mukbang is, if anybody's not familiar, it's one of those videos where the Korean people eat stuff on the screen, and it's just like a YouTube video watching people eat. And if I could be famous for doing that, that's what I want to be choose. That's what I want to choose to be famous for. Is just eating on the screen. Yes, please, and thank you.
I mean, you could do that. I'm sure there's a market for it.
Oh, there is. There's an established market for it, but yeah, I'm excited about Higurashi. I think this show is really interesting, and it almost makes me want to go back and watch the original one, but I don't know. Maybe when you know.
It's hard because like the original one is just so many time loops, and you understand that they were kind of worthless because like some of them just really have it. They really have no purpose in terms of the grand like scheme of things. And so sitting through the whole thing, I can't really recommend, but also at the same time, I really do like love the story of Higurashi. So it's like it's the ultimate story that you just can't recommend to anybody.
Yeah, no, I get you. I feel that way about the Fate series. I watched a lot of the Fate shows during COVID, and it's like everybody like there are parts of that I thought were really good, but like to get to Fate Zero, you kind of need to watch Fate Stay Night, and Fate Stay Night was terrible, absolutely painful to get through. Like I definitely was ready to give up in Fate Stay Night, and then Fate Zero was freaking great, and I really liked it. And then when I got to like Unlimited Blade Works, it was like half and half, but it's like way better than Fate Stay Night. But if you didn't watch Fate Stay Night, you missed some things, and it's very complicated. I don't know, but yeah.
Like I feel like we could do like a ranking of best shows that are hard to recommend, and Fate would be like number 1 or 2 up there.
Yeah,
I think Fate and Bakemonogatari are like almost even in terms of like how hard
I love Bakemonogatari though. What are you bringing me? Are you bringing me more food to eat on stream?
I just wanted you to eat on stream. I'm fixing
it. Hey, chat, y'all. You guys saying you wanted me to eat on stream has meant that Mom brought me more food for stream, so I get some eating on the stream now. Okay, thanks. Okay, Heaven's Design Team. I learned so much about owls this week.
Yes, I love it. Like I did not I've seen owls before, of course, but I've never realized they don't have ears. I've never realized.
Did you see the skull? And they have an asymmetrical skull. Like holy crap!
That's fascinating. Like I love that. Like this show is awesome. Like I never would have thought that owls have ears inside their skull. And I was like, you know what? Okay. You're definitely like moved up like 10 ranks in terms of like interesting animals that I know about now.
Yeah.
I love the horned owl. That's like, yeah, he has the little feathers on top for no reason at all.
I know, just because I think they're cute. I love that part. But I like how they started out with all the alien crap. And I was like, where's it going? And the first one I kind of figured out.
It was really weird.
That looks like a little monkey. And I was like, okay, it's a little monkey. But how they got from like weird alien to owl was a leap.
Yeah.
Okay, that
Yeah,
was a
like the
leap.
alien with the two tongues, and that was kind of horrific, honestly. So it's like, yeah. So I
But it's
love
the
this
little
show.
boy's
Every
first
episode is like
love.
a different direction in terms of how they present the information. Whether it's 100% serious one episode, and it's just like, yeah, this is like a serious animal. This how all their body parts and features work. But then like another episode, like, yeah, here's a unicorn, and we're just gonna mess around for a little bit, and then we'll
Yeah.
get to like an actual animal.
I don't know.
So I
I
appreciate that.
almost feel like the only thing that I would ask for a little bit more in this series is a little bit more of some type of overarching plot. Something
Yeah.
tying the episodes together. Just a little. It doesn't even have to be that important to every episode. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I think that would have been nice as well. I'm not sure if that would have, like, because sometimes like having like trying to throw too much into an episode kind of ruins stuff. But I think they could have like cut a
Yeah.
little bit out of each episode and like actually try to have some type of coherent like structure, like something going on in the background. I thought I was going to get that when the secretary got sent to hell, but like the next episode was like, no, she's cool, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm really liking this show though.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite show we watch every week, but it's refreshing and it's always interesting. And I do always learn stuff about our animals and stuff. I was looking today on Facebook. I'm scrolling through and there's some picture of an owl, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's got like a concave head so it can see or it can hear.
Yep.
Because it doesn't
I can't
have
wait till
ears.
the show gets put in English. That way I could show it to like little kids and say, hey, we're learning today.
I think they're already dubbing it, so I think like maybe like a handful of episodes are already in English.
I should actually check that out.
Right? No, this is a Crunchyroll show. Maybe not. I swear I've read that there's a dub cast for this already, so maybe maybe it's in process. So
possibly, I'll look into it.
Yeah.
All
Oh, cells at work.
Our other educational show.
Was
that image from this episode? Because I feel like that image. I feel like this is every episode. Like, is this? Are you sure this was?
I wanted to make the point that like you can't outperform. Like you can't hard work your way out of this, dude. Okay, this is like
so,
get out of your capitalist myth mindset right here. All right, you can't pull yourself up from your bootstraps when you are one red blood cell and this man is like murdering his body. Okay.
Yeah, this anime is really depressing, and I don't even like. Are they going to resolve the issue with the white blood cells? Is this man just going to be having a white blood cell deficiency?
I'm worried that the guy has cancer. Okay, because he's out of white blood cells. Like what?
I mean, that's possible. Man, the preview for the next episode says he's going to have a stomach ulcer. So
and that makes
I don't
sense
know.
because of the stress. Like,
yeah,
if you're stressed out, you get stomach ulcers. I get that, but
like it really does feel like this man is one step away from dying. Like I wonder if the human in this even realizes how bad his medical situation is. Like, because that's almost horrifying, right? Like, what if like he just thinks, oh, whatever, these are just regular problems that I'm just gonna have, whatever. Because like then it could be anybody, right? Like, what if your body inside is under like cold red right now and you don't know?
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. He has to know something because he's had to go for treatment for several of these things. And there was one where they were like, he hasn't eaten or slept, or he's only drank alcohol and smoked, and he hasn't slept.
Yeah. All right, Jess froze. I froze. Who froze?
Oh.
Okay, we had to restart, Jess. Oh no, are you good, Jess?
All right, cool. Are we back? We're back.
All right, we're back.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm concerned about this guy. I feel like he has to know something because he's been drinking to cope with the stress, and I mean, you got to kind of feel it.
Yeah, at the very least, this guy goes to the doctor. Like he gets treatment like consistently. So at least that's a plus. He's not an American that would just let it sit there. Because that is the American healthcare way.
Yeah, what's my copay? Do I have to go? No.
Until
Right.
you're
I
on the
gotta
bed
stop
in the
eating. I'm
emergency
getting
room, you don't
distracted.
go.
Mm.
But yeah, hopefully, I wonder if is this anime going to have a happy ending? Like, is like,
No, absolutely not. I feel like the guy's gonna die. Like I feel that's what we're like
is it really going
barely
to go
born.
that bad though? Like, are they just going to leave it in the current? Like, I mean, because they could leave it in the current state and just have him like, yeah, like he's still in bad shape, but like he's still alive. They don't have to kill him, but I mean, at the same time, how long do they want to keep this series running? Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I definitely think this is gonna be a 12-episode series, and I think he's gonna die in the end. I mean, I'm just telling
That's
you.
horrific.
I feel like that's gonna
Oh my
happen.
god, can you imagine watching this man die from the inside?
We're the worst kind of warriors. The worst.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. All right, so on to another lovely, horrible week of Cells at Work Code Black next week.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Sorry. Okay.
Did we even talk about this episode, or did we just talk about the show in general? I feel like what we just said just applies to every episode.
It does. It does. Hey, is the thing frozen again? Because I'm still showing Cells at Work on my screen, but one screen shows one thing and one screen shows another.
Oh, yeah, you had to reset your screen share.
Maybe. Give us just a
There
second. There we go. Quintuplets.
All right. Quintuplets. Okay.
Oh, quintuplets.
So this Nino isn't a pill anymore, but I
No,
refuse
she's
to
not.
accept her.
I know you're
I'm
gonna
not
get
gonna
mad at me,
accept
Erik,
her.
but I liked Nino in this episode. I liked
Okay.
Nino in this episode.
She wasn't bad, but I'm not going to accept her, and I'm not going to accept her fans. Like, I won't.
I mean, she's
I would
been
not
terrible
like.
in other episodes. I'll give you that.
Like, there's literally a whole like community on Twitter that claim Nino is the best girl, and I refuse to acknowledge them. I will
Those
fight
people are
them
wrong.
to my last breath.
Those people are wrong. Those people are completely wrong in every way that it is to be wrong. So we can agree on that. But I was surprised. I didn't hate Nino in this episode. I do appreciate forthrightness more than this moi moi. I gotta be encouraged to do everything kind of crap that you see in anime quite often.
That
that's
was
exhausting.
good. Like when she walked off and he didn't hear her, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the cliche show trope that we see in every show. But when she was like, you know what, he didn't hear me the first time, I want to walk back and tell him straight to his face, and she was so embarrassed, but she still got through it. So I appreciate it.
Naraman in the chat has the rankings here, personal rankings.
Mika, Ichika, Nino, Itsuki, Yotsuba. I think Itsuki is better than Nino.
I think he's better than Nino too.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'll agree.
I think my ranking is Ichika is definitely my number one. Definitely, because she is number one and she's my number one. Probably Ichika, Itsuki, Miku, Nino, Yotsuba. I don't like Yotsuba. Like, I just don't. Like, she just seems really aloof. Like, she's an okay character for any other show, but for this show, I don't think she fits. Like, I just don't think she fits the rest of the show.
Yeah, she's the one girl that's really not even in the harem. She's just like, yeah, I'm here, whatever. So
yeah, I don't know. She's not my favorite. And because she's got the stupid trope, and she's got the stupid trope more than the other ones have the stupid trope, because they kind of all have it, Yeah. But she's got like that whole aloof. I'm not paying enough attention, and I don't know. I don't like the stupid trope, but.
Well, they're trying to peg her as being like the thing that holds everybody together. They're like, oh yeah, it was her idea that got us to like pass this thing, and she predicted what questions are on the test. So they're trying to give her another role in the family, but like, I don't think it's going to stick. I think it's just she's going to go back to being like the dumb one.
Yeah. Like if you're talking about people that are holding a family together, like freaking Itsuki feels like she's doing that more than anybody.
Yeah,
trying to do stuff.
She's trying her best. Oh, one thing we should talk about though. There was another character that dressed up. This time we had a Itsuki imposter.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty convinced right now that the imposter in both situations has been Ichika, because there's
It's
like we've
weird.
seen
It's
but we've seen all the girls like under pressure, and they're not able to hold it together. Like just flat out,
yeah.
Miku almost has a nervous breakdown if she's ever confronted. Yotsuba can't keep anything straight. Nino can't not. She just can't turn off her tsundere. The
Yeah.
only person that can play this part is Ishika. So
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you, but I think it's real creepy. I thought it was creepy the first time. I think it's creepy the second time. I just think it's really creepy. And I know they're going to go some way where it's like, oh, she's doing this because she's in love and blah, blah, blah. And I like that they're trying to make her like self sacrificing in the main storyline. But this whole dressing up stuff, super creepy and very
yeah.
disturbing. And I don't like it. But then again, I don't like this show. So, hey, it's par for the course. All right, you got anything else about quintuplets this week?
No. I feel like we hit most of the big plot points that happen.
Yeah. Ah, it's Spider time! Spider time!
Spider, on the other hand, I can say a lot about Spider. So I love this scene because her. So she now has two minds now. She has like parallel thinking, and then her second mind called her an edgelord when she was saying yeah. So she's talking about her evil eye.
It's a reference to the Shinobi stuff too, because it's got like the eye and all this is like you're an edgelord.
Oh my god. So like I love the conversations that she had with herself. Because they're the same person and they're the same person, but at the same time it feels like the two minds are like developing their own kind of like personality. So I appreciate that.
I love it. And it's not like creepy too. Like, cause yeah, she's got two minds and stuff. And you'd think that would be, you know, like kind of delve into creepy, but no, it's hilarious. It's like she's talking to herself and that's always what it sounds like. And I sort of love it. I love everything about it. And she's developing all these skills and this was a good episode this week. I definitely think so. I made an incorrect assumption when we first started seeing the human characters. I thought that the human character who was the elf was older than them in that world and was their teacher from the current world. But no, she's a reincarnation of the teacher from the original world that they're all reincarnated from. So everybody in the classroom died. I didn't realize that until this episode. And then it kind of clicked for me. And I just wasn't reading it that way. I was thinking that she was an elf and she was a lot older than all of them in this world. And she had taught them as children in this world. You know what I mean? So she knew what was going on with the reincarnations. I didn't realize it was
their why you think that. But I do like this take where even the teacher got reincarnated, because I've never seen a show like bring along the actual adult in their lives. Usually they usually like take all the kids away and it's like, oh yeah, now they're free to do whatever they want, and it never really is an adult to kind of like give them any rules or anything. And so she's kind of in their life.
She's super suspect already. Like, holy crap,
but
when did you get godlike powers?
All the kids still acknowledge her as their teacher, and so they still like will follow her advice. And so she's really suspicious on a lot of different reasons, because she told the kids not to level up your skills, and that's a little strange. Like, I understand that they might be dangerous, but also this world is full of nothing but dangerous things. Like, you have to like fight fire with fire at some point. And so for her to tell them not to level up, like, I don't know if she's truly on their side, but she hasn't. It seems like she's trying to protect them. So I don't know. The bully definitely got the bad end of the stick on this episode.
I mean, yeah, he's the bully, but she definitely like mind controlled him into giving her his consent to have all of his stuff erased. And that was creepy. That was a super duper creepy scene. You know?
I want to know why she's able to do that, because that doesn't seem like something that you should be able to, like a skill you should be able to acquire just because. And so if the world is giving her like admin powers, like, is she so we also saw that the main character, was complaining about, yeah, I maxed out this skill and I got no bonus. Like that sucks. Like
Yeah.
this game sucks. And then like the admin was like, you know what? You're right. Let me give you this new skill real quick. Let me just overwrite a few things. And she's
That's,
like, wait a minute.
that's because
Wait a
the
minute. You're
spider
listening
sent,
all the time. This is
the
not
spider sent
okay.
in a bug report, Eric. She
She
sent
did.
in a bug report.
Oh my god,
And
she
she
did.
got a patch. She got an instant patch. What kind of responsiveness is that? That's pretty great.
It is pretty good, but also terrifying because she's like, wait a minute, someone's watching me all the time and they're pretty much
Mhm.
in control of my skills, which means they're in control of my life right now.
Yep.
And so I wonder if the teacher is the admin, and so she's watching over all the students, which would make sense because there was this part where she was like, "Oh yeah, um, some of the children got reincarnated as monsters, and then the others are humans, and I know of all of them, but I'm not going to give you any clues about what they're doing."
Well,
So
and
for her to even know
that makes
about the
you
main
wonder.
character,
That makes you wonder if this quote reincarnation is some kind of Matrix type thing. Maybe they're not reincarnated. Maybe they were put in like the goo bath and they're in the Matrix now, and this is some governmental experiment where they knocked everybody out in the classroom, and she's the plant in the world with them, monitoring all this
so
stuff.
that actually is the plot of. So I watched the live action version of Future Diary or Mirai Nikki, and that actually is the
Mhm.
plot of live action Mirai Nikki, where like everything that's happening is just like there was an accident and all the people are like in this like world simulation while their bodies are recovering, and some people are plants and you don't know who it is, right? And so that could be
Yeah.
that maybe these people are just so badly injured that like the government's like, yeah, we're going to put them all in like SEO right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just seems too suspicious to me. Okay, you've got somebody who has godlike powers now, and it makes me too suspicious that this is something natural like slime or something. You know,
Yeah.
like
So I didn't consider that till now, but I think I would like that plot if that really is the case.
yeah. And she's gonna win the
Yeah.
game. Obviously, our spider is gonna win the game. That's what's gonna happen. Clearly.
Yeah. The other thing we saw this episode was at the very end we get to see the character from the opening that is eating the world in the opening credits. Now she makes her appearance, and she revealed herself to be another reincarnated person. And also, she's going to team up with the bully in order to be like, yeah, we're going to get back at the teacher for stealing away your abilities. So he's totally going to get taboo now. Whatever taboo
Yep.
means, whatever negative effects it has, he's totally going to get it.
Yep.
So
Yeah. It just means Church Girl wants to murder you. I mean, that's
yeah,
all we know right now.
if he gets murdered by Church Girl, you know what? I'm like, you know what? All right, you got that one. you can have that one.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, look what wasn't absolutely terrible this week.
It wasn't. It
wasn't.
It wasn't terrible this week, but it makes me
No.
it makes me doubt even
Nope.
more the skills of whoever's like pinning these episodes. Like
Yeah,
they
it's
make
so
no
out of
sense at
order.
all.
It's so random as to what goes where, and now we've got another random backstory episode. What
Yeah.
is even the overarching plot? Somebody needed to storyboard this season. They needed to storyboard it out, and they didn't do that. And now it feels like we're just throwing it in here and throwing it in there.
Yeah, I mean,
with
I feel
no
like
rhyme or reason.
this wouldn't be as bad if this was just storyboarded better. And like this episode would have been so nice to have right after the other Moroku episode where he first got introduced and you see his
Yep.
him and his son, and that would have made perfect sense because like, oh, we introduced Moroku, let's show why he's important. Not wait 10 episodes to come back to him, and it's not even like, oh, within the last 10 episodes they got maybe like a new attack or they learned something new and they had to come back to this. There's literally nothing preventing this episode from airing 10 weeks ago.
There's not.
Absolutely
And
nothing.
it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. So in the chat, Nariman says it feels like every episode is done by someone else, but they never talk to each other about what they were writing. And Dex Slugs agrees. I think so too.
Yeah,
that's like our
that's
big
what I
problem
said
with the
last
show.
week.
Like
last week I
thought
was
the
saying
show-
it felt like there's different teams working on it, and whoever finishes their episode first just gets to air. Like it doesn't matter where your episode is.
I don't remember the first half of this season being like this. Episodes like 1 through 13, they were a little dull and it took a while to get where we were going, but they felt like they were on a track for episodes and to find stuff out. And ever since we hit like episode 15 or whatever, where you've got like some big backstory reveals, which also itself was completely random, everything since that episode has been all over the board. Here or there or wherever. We went from boring to the interesting stuff, but all gobbledygooked together with one terrible filler episode in the middle.
Yeah, like I feel
that episode, like what last week was terrible, abjectly horrible. Yeah.
I have no idea what work situation or work conditions they're under right now, but right now, because they're at the very least, I feel they're definitely making the episodes week by week. Like I feel like they're definitely like the show is not done right now. If the show was completely done and they were finished with all the episodes, I feel like somebody would have had the mind to say, you know what, let's swap this around a bit. But so I feel like they're definitely working on this like as it's airing, and I feel like it's suffering because like they definitely don't have a whole plot in mind. They're writing as they go, and I guess that's the drawback of working on a show that doesn't have like pre-existing like a novel or manga that you just have to kind of like just write it out as it progresses.
You can't blame it on that because there's been really, really good shows that didn't have source material. Okay, like freaking Madoka was an original show. Okay, and that was wonderful. Absolutely,
and that also was made while it was airing. Like they were not done with the show before it started airing because there was a point where they had to delay it. I remember they delayed one of the episodes because they were like, "Hey, we're behind." So like, there's a way to like get shows like original anime to not be this way, but I don't know what they're doing.
I know, and I don't know. I had a lot of problems with this episode too. Although it was better, it's certainly better than the freaking terrible filler episode. But that's the lowest of low bars. But you've got this episode where it sets in his backstory, and my problem with it is you've got Sesshomaru's little green guy who's helping out and bringing her all this stuff and whatever and taking her to the right place. Yeah, Jockin. And gives her things like the one I have right here with no instruction whatsoever. Just figure it out. Just figure it out.
Like, what do you mean cut? Like, how about like, why is Jockin not like, hey, I know you. Like, I'll be your friend and I'll help you out a little bit. Here's some instructions. I'm gonna train you. Why is he literally reading notes that could be left from anybody? Cut the wind, cut the water. Like that's how far your parenting goes. Just send your secretary to send her a note saying cut the wind.
It's weird. And Jockin might be doing it on his own. You don't know, like just to be like trying to help her out.
Probably.
But whatever.
But at the same time, even if Sesshomaru doesn't know, like, come on, Jockin, like you could do a little bit more than this. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. But
yeah, like there was even so one more thing. So like in the Inuyasha even showed like Sesshomaru came to the human village every single week to drop a kimono off for Rin. Like he literally was giving her birthday gifts every week. So like, and you can't even give your daughters like more than some piece of wood that says cut the wind. I'm mad.
Yeah. Nariman pointed out it's the whole premise makes no sense. The reason the big bad wants to kill the girls is because they're half demons based on some random prophecy, but I guess was okay with Inuyasha existing. They tried to make the point that the demon guy was asleep for a long time, and then he woke up and he found out that these, quote, abominations were here and all these half demons, and he's like, But why doesn't the demon guy go after this, I don't know, entire village of half demons that we discovered in this episode?
I know.
That clearly other people know about. Other demons know about it. Because they're going to investigate and find it.
I feel like they're pulling the Voldemort, where they're like, oh, you're going to like, oh, you're so scared of the prophecy that you're going to cause the prophecy to happen. Like, I feel like, because right now they're not even a threat to him. He fought them, and he literally was like throwing around like rag dolls. Like, it's like, here. Like,
he doesn't.
Like, it wasn't even a threat.
I agree. Oh, Wonder Egg.
We always got to jump out of Inuyasha into Wonder Egg in order to like.
I know. We're going from the worst to like one of the best, man. I love Wonder Egg. Okay, so this week was all about Rika. Rika, we find out, is a cutter. She definitely trigger warning for anybody who is watching the show. This episode is all about self-harm. So if that bothers you, maybe don't watch this episode. But the whole show is about like suicide. So definitely have a warning about the whole freaking show.
Yeah.
And so, you find out that she's got a pretty awful relationship with her mom, who's a drunk and who doesn't know who her father is, and has like 5 dudes that she thinks might be her father, maybe, or maybe not. And she does not like respect her mother, and yeah,
I
like not
mean, the
even
way
a
the mother
little
dropped the
bit.
information was pretty bad. Like they was like, "Yeah, I'll tell you once you start your middle school who your dad is." And it's like, "Oh yeah, I'm in middle school now. Like, can I finally have this information about who's my dad is?" And she just drops 5 photos. Yeah, it's one of them. Like whatever. I don't even
Yeah,
know.
whatever.
And like, come on now, that's terrible. That's terrible, even for a terrible
Yeah,
character. But so the mom is not a likable character, but this episode helped us like Rika more because she
yeah,
put a bad taste in everybody's mouth when she was like, yeah, like I is my little piggy bank, and or my wallet. That's what she says.
yeah.
And so
Well, and
everyone
she
kind of
started
hated
out with,
her.
like I'm gonna take it. The her whole character was I'm gonna take advantage of people, and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And
yeah. Her motto is a beautiful
uh,
woman never needs to carry a purse.
yeah. But I like her turtle mascot. Her turtle mascot is pretty cute. I
Yeah,
like him like a good deal. She fights a cultist this time, or fights with and for a cultist, I guess. Because this girl is definitely still indoctrinated even after death,
yeah,
to wanting to be part of this cult, and you think that the cult is going to turn her. I almost feel like this episode was a little bit too wrapped up neatly with a bow at the end there. I'll be honest, and I think this show is deep enough that we're going to see repercussions from this episode down the line, that you didn't see here because it was just too easy. You know what I mean? The end
yeah.
was too easy with it her busting out and killing the thing and getting back and all that stuff. I think it was too easy.
Yeah, one thing I do. So the one thing I like about Netflix is that Netflix, when they're making an original show, they might have like, oh, all the episodes are 30 minutes or 35 minutes, whatever. But whenever it's necessary, they'll have, oh, it's a 45-minute episode or 50-minute, whatever, however long they need. This one felt like they had more story to tell, but they knew that it was only going to be one episode and it had 30 minutes or 22. And
Yeah, I
so
agree.
I feel like that issue you had where, oh, it got wrapped up too neatly was because they're like, hey, clock's ticking. Let's end this. Because it like she was going down a pretty dark path, and it seemed like she might have been like just giving up and wanting to like die in that place and just not do this anymore. But the way the speed that she got to that point and the speed she got out just felt a little not believable. Just how
Yeah,
fast she just
I
fell
agree.
down
But
that
that's
hole
why I
and got
think
out.
I have a lot of faith that this show is going to come back around to it. So I feel like it's one of those things where she's not fixed by any means. You know what I mean? Like this is going to come back at some point. Um,
Yeah,
Nariman, yeah, she has a faint memory of who she thinks is her dad, but who knows if that's actually her dad or not. It's just what she kind of remembers.
yeah. She shouldn't have
And
any memory because the mom doesn't even know, or does she? I mean, maybe.
yeah,
And I don't think the mom will lie about that.
I don't think she
So
did. I think that she just has some memory of a father figure, and who knows if that was actually her dad or not. It's just something that she remembers from it.
yeah,
Yeah, I think all the girls are unreliable narrators. I especially think I is an unreliable narrator, from the first episode where she doesn't know where she is and then she appears places, and absolutely.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
but I don't think that the idea of the regretting committing suicide. I think that the girl who was the cultist who had committed suicide had complicated emotions that weren't well explored. Like this could have easily been 2 episodes, I think. And Erik, you
yeah.
make a good point. It felt like it needed to be longer. So,
So
but
one
still,
so one thing that I not confused, but so one thing that stood out to me this episode is that normally all the previous victims they have has been someone that maybe even if they weren't like in a place yet where they were like moved on, it seemed like they were trying to, or they were trying to confront something. And even I guess the backstory that we have based on like the 2 admin guys that control the place, they were like, oh yeah, like the girls here have such strong emotions that they pulled they pulled other people into it, kind of like they're all crying out and they're pulling other people into their worlds. But for the cultist girl, she seemed like she was perfectly content with that situation, and even after the guy was defeated, she was like, "Oh well, I guess that happened. Whatever. I'll
Well,
live
and
on
that's
with
what I'm
it."
saying. I think it's more complicated, and like in the mind of like a real cultist, you have to deprogram those people. So it's like, that's still strong emotion, and whether they've come to terms with it, I think it just shows that they're not going to go with everybody's come to terms with stuff. So like, if you're saving the girl one time, maybe she has to go through several iterations of egg, like maybe
Oh,
this is just
that's
her
a
first
possible.
iteration of egg.
Yeah, it would be interesting if
But
someone that they saved comes back to be saved by a different girl. That'd be interesting.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Because they
yeah, another.
have to save a bunch of girls to save the one that they want. So who's to say that the ones in the eggs don't have to go through a bunch of iterations? And it's like a hearkening to Buddhism or something, where you or is it Hinduism? I don't. No, Buddhism. You gotta like do incarnations until you reach nirvana. So yeah, that's more, I guess, what I'm getting at here. Like you got to go through iterations until you come to terms with it. So
Yeah. Another, I guess, aspect that got revealed in this show is that the imprinting of their little monster things, they acknowledge the girls as their parent, and so her little turtle was there to protect her when he realized that she really wasn't about to win this fight at that moment. And so that's
yeah,
nice that they all, like, their little pets are kind of there, not simply as their like mascot, but also someone that they can genuinely rely on.
yeah, yeah.
So
Their
at
soul
this point, I think,
soul gems turn into mascots. Yeah.
yeah,
So
at this point, I think every girl has had
agree.
an episode except for Neru. So she's probably next.
Yeah, I could see that. I feel like we don't know a lot about Momoya either. Like there's just not
Yeah,
as much information. But we're
she's got her
definitely coming back
introduction.
around to pedophile teacher. Like pedophile teacher
Hmm.
is coming back. So just prepare yourself for that, I guess.
Yeah, and we
But
have to see why I now hates her mom. I mean, we have an
yeah,
idea, but I want her to flat out say what your problem is. Like, I want her to say it because
yep, I agree.
we need to hear this.
So
All right.
I'm gonna go with Horimiya was my favorite episode of the week this week for
Okay.
a lot of different reasons. It was my favorite one. So you start out and you've got this whole thing where Miyamura is out of town, I think for a funeral. I don't think they actually came out and said it was for a
They didn't
funeral,
say
but
it,
he
but
goes
it
to the
looks
place
like a
where
funeral.
everybody's dressed for a funeral.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
he
pretty
goes
sure
there
that's
and
the case.
everybody's in a suit and everybody's wearing black, and I'm like, oh, I guess it's a funeral. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so he goes to funeral and his battery dies, and it's a little bit tropey. I mean, it's like a romance trope thing, and she can't hear from him, but they get back and they have like the emotional reunion. Oh, I didn't realize you cared so much, kind of thing, and that was cute, and I liked that. Oh, that's at the end. They have sex at the end.
Yeah.
Like real honest to God relations. They have relations in this episode. And I'm
not
about it.
expecting
No,
that, honestly.
I thought the same thing. Surely Hokkaido has a cell phone store. I thought that too. He was there for 5 days and his cell phone died in day 1. Okay? And this is like current times. Like, I guarantee that there's like some kind of cell phone store with a charger. And yeah, he couldn't go right then, but 5 days. Like, come on.
Like, you couldn't find any neighbor at all. Hey, you have an extra cell phone charger.
Yeah, no, that was a little bit ridiculous. But then you've got a whole situation with green-haired girl and best friend guy and Yoshikawa and Ishikawa.
Okay,
I'm learning their names. I'm learning them.
All right, so for just simplicity's sake, Yoshikawa, her first name is Sakura. Green-haired girl, her name is Sakura, and I didn't realize that until like the end of the episode. Because that's why she was that when she gave Toru the candy, and he's like, oh yeah, I especially love the Sakura ones. And she's like, oh, do you like Sakura?
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I love Sakura.
Yoshikawa is the blonde girl. Like, because I looked up her name because
Oh,
I
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to
yeah.
talk about it. I
Her,
appreciate that how incredibly ethical she was in this episode, because she's clearly got feelings for him and she's clearly trying to make him feel better, and then she finds out he likes the other guy and she's trying to be a champ about it, and the girl gives her the cookies and she's real upset, because she knows she can see it. She can see he's interested in her, and the other girl and Sakura, and she's upset. She looks at the trash can for a second and she's like, oh my God, I'm a terrible person. I'm just, even thinking about the idea of throwing away these cookies, she's like, I'm a terrible person. I need to be a better person. I'm like, how ethical are you? Like, holy crap.
yeah,
How
like,
ethical are you? After
so,
you spent like whatever years he's in love with Hori, and Hori isn't interested in it at all, and she's just there being his friend, and yeah. Yeah, friend zone
so,
blonde girl. I love friend zone blonde girl now.
so, so I support green-haired girl. I support her, but, so Yoshi, what I can't remember that name. Like, her name is Yuki. That's the name. That's the only name I can remember. So Yuki. So I, even though I support Sakura, Yuki makes me want to cry because I can relate to her perspective on life, and I can relate to that. And so when she was like, "Oh yeah, I kind of do want this, but like at the same time, I'm just gonna be I want to be seen as passive. I'm not gonna like put forth any effort." I can understand
Yeah.
that, and like I'm like, dang it, I don't want to relate to you.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I get you. She's the Ichika in the show, okay? She's Ichika for the show, all right?
yeah.
Apparently I have a type in weird new anime, and that's I love blonde friend zone girl. Like, she's my new jam in this show, and I'm all about it because I love the main couple. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, they're gonna get married next? I mean, like, what?
I mean, I
We've
suppose
progressed very fast. Like,
like at
we've
this
just
point,
progressed
like
very
at this point, the show might end with them like having grandkids. Like we're on rocket speed right now.
Yeah, and it's just because there's a lot of time jumps. I mean, like, he was hanging out at her house for a long time, and now he's like basically part of their family. And it's like, what's going to happen when they graduate? Like, I feel like graduation's got to be coming up soon because they only had like a year.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
the anime,
and then Hardy
the
takes a
anim.
bunch of bad advice for making him
Oh
watch horror
yeah,
movies. Oh, you should
that was
act
that was
scared. Yeah, she's not scared.
that was a precious scene because she was trying so hard and she was just like he's the worst in terms of like he's such a scaredy cat, but he will beat somebody to a pulp. Like he's so scared. But that scene was precious. Also the scene with the brother where he was scared that his sister was going to get taken away. That was precious. And I
That
didn't
was precious.
realize the timing of that scene until I went on Reddit. All right, so that scene happened right. The scene with the little brother happened right after the sex scene, and the anime didn't put it in your face, but the manga did, where the brother was outside the door and heard them, and that's why he was upset, thinking that his sister
Oh
was
my
about to get
god.
taken. That's why it happened immediately afterwards, because the brother heard them and he understands what's happening. And
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and so it adds a whole new kind of layer to that because he understands this relationship. It's sailed like it's solid right now. So he was like, oh,
Yeah.
my sister's being taken away from him, and that's why the main guy had to like say no, like she's still your sister. Um,
Yeah. No,
and
it was
then
cute.
and then the
That's
end.
what I'm saying. This episode was adorable from start to finish, okay? That's why this was like my pick for this week, okay?
I had the same opinion until the end credit scene. The end credit scene, I was like, Hori, you need to chill out because no, it's like because like two episodes ago, like Hori was like, oh, when he has long hair, like him having short hair and seeing like his tattoos and all this, that's in piercing. That's my thing. Like she was like, that's my thing. Like I don't want other people to see it because that's part of our bond and our special relationship, right? So she was kind of like upset when he cut his hair. And then now his hair is starting to grow out a little bit more, and she's like, "Oh, I want to bite you and leave a mark on your back. That way, if you don't want anybody to see this mark on your back, you don't have to keep your hair long." And then he was like, "Oh, this is like her mark." she's marking her territory on me. And I'm like, she is. And I don't think that's okay.
It's just like a hickey, Erik. Okay, it's
I
just like a
know.
hickey. Okay.
Okay, I know, but I don't approve of that either. So it's like,
I don't know.
so
I didn't think it was that weird, but I don't know. It's
oh
just like a
man,
hickey. But
I was like, Hori,
eh.
okay, chill out, just chill out a little bit.
I love this episode though. I thought it was great, and it's my number one pick for the week. But I can't wait for more Horimiya. Excited about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
All right, skate.
oh. He parachuted
Speaking of
in.
someone,
He
speaking of someone that needs to chill
in.
out, Adam is never chill. Adam does not know how to spell chill.
Woo.
This man jumped out of a helicopter
He did.
on a
And he had a
skateboard.
parachute with a heart on it.
This
and,
okay.
And he just hit the ground running.
Jumping out of
and
a
he was
jumping
good to go.
jumping out of a helicopter on a skateboard is such a level of absurdity. Like like Fast and Furious got nothing on Adam. Like
Adam could be the next villain in the Fast and Furious series.
like everyone's driving cars, and Adam comes out on a skateboard. Yeah, man. How fast are you?
Oh my god. All right. I'm okay with now that we're back to everybody's gay again and we're angsty for gay relationships. So welcome back to Gay Town from our brief hetero interlude. Now we're back to Gay Town. I'm happy with that.
Now,
and I'm actually pretty happy that the only person who's actually fairly coded straight in this show is the flower guy. The flower guy. I'm okay with that. That's okay with me because he's precious. He's absolutely
Shadow
precious.
is my favorite character. Shadow is a good guy. He's not a good guy, but he is a good guy.
He's a good guy. Yeah, no, he's a good guy in spite of what he wants to be, and that's like the best. And he's delightful. But everybody else,
I approve of Shadow.
You can get, and if you don't see that, you're not watching the show.
Yeah, this episode, Langa and Reki are having their moment, where we've known from episode 2 that this Langa is the main character of this show. Reki has not had a single success in anything. He has not won a single match. He has not really did an outstanding trick. It's been all Langa. Every cool thing that's ever happened in this show has been all Langa. And so Reki, he didn't really he realized Langa is really talented and amazing, but he didn't quite realize just how far he was being left behind until literally everybody was saying, "Oh yeah, that's the guy that's not Langa with him. That red hair guy, that's the not Langa." And people don't even know his name.
I mean, that's real shitty, you know? I don't know. People in the show were really, really shitty for no real reason. That chatter on the side kind of thing.
Even his friends were they weren't super serious about it. They weren't really trying to bring him down, but their comments weren't helpful because they didn't understand that he was having self-doubt at that moment, and they really made it worse. And in the beginning, he was still trying to be supportive and he's okay, whatever, my best friend is cool, I'm gonna try to be cool too. But even though he's been doing this for a lot longer than Langa, he just couldn't get the results, and that's frustrating. That's frustrating when you really try to put your best into something, and you see someone just come up and he's a snowboarder, but he's been doing this for 2 months, and he's leagues better than me now. So that's frustrating, and I understand that. So I'm not mad at Reki.
Well, and then you've got Mia. I think Mia, you're gonna come up, and he's gonna be like, "Yeah, I told you this was gonna happen because this happened to me, and I had to abandon all of my friends because they turned on me because I'm a jerk." I feel like you're gonna get some "I told you so"s from him coming up in the next episode.
I don't think so. I think he's a changed man. I think he's a changed man, and I think he's gonna be you know what? I know what I said, but no, you just gotta work. I don't know what is the next step for Reki, because you can't just say work harder, right? Because Langa's been doing this for 2 months, and he's S class now. So you can't just say work harder and you'll get results. Because talent is a thing, you know. So
Well, and I mean, I feel like it's one of those things where, like, just because you're not going to be able to compete, because, like, clearly only one of them is on, like, the All-Star Japan team, and it's the kid. And the kid is like, they're not always trying to compete with the kid to be like national level. They still have fun with it, even if they don't,
yeah, but
So I think
he's not like he's not their best bro though. Like with Cherry and Joe, they're on, like, you look at them, they're on equal levels. They're the best of bros, even though they fight with each other, but they're on equal level. You can say, oh, who's better, Cherry or Joe? And like, I know, and like there's a question there, right? With Langa and Reki, it's like there is no question. Langa is leagues better than Reki, and so like he just feels like he got left behind and he can't even catch up, right? So
Yeah, I mean, you'll get some. I'm sure we'll get some character development. But can we talk about how Adam totally threw under the bus his manservant here, because that's what this scene is from?
Is that really his man's, or I mean, is that really like just another guy? Was the show trying to suggest that might be like his brother or something?
It's not his brother, but it's somebody who's worked for his family. Like that, like
see.
he'd been working, went to bat for him as a kid, or as a teenager, I guess, with his father. When his father was like, no, you can't do this. I'm gonna burn your skateboard. And the other guy is like going to bat for him, and now he's like, nope. If somebody has to take the fall, it's gonna be you. It's gonna be you. I'm like, holy crap.
Adam is not a good guy. Adam is not a good guy, and this whoever is his secretary, like, he's just a doormat right now. Just straight up, like maybe he'll get maybe he'll grow a backbone, but he's been like this apparently his whole life. So they showed another flashback. Oh, you can go.
No, I was gonna say, I don't think he's gonna grow a backbone. I feel like that's just yeah.
They show another flashback showing that Adam, Joe, and Cherry were like best friends at some point. But then I feel like they were a little old at that time to be like, oh, we're having fun skating and I'm about to move to America. That does feel, because they look like 18 at that point. They had to be even older because they're full adults now. They're not like young, So
yeah,
I don't know. It felt like the adults in this show are a little old to be like skating around with literal teenagers. I don't know.
Well, it seemed like there's a lot of ages at this event. Like there's just a bunch of people of all age ranges, really, Because like the general
Mia's like 13,
all around the court and stuff. They look like anywhere between teens and early 20s, late 20s. There's people all over that are all different types. So who knows?
Yeah. So we got to see Adam hosting this tournament.
Very excited. Excited about the tournament.
Yeah. I mean, Reki has to join the tournament. He has to, because like, what else is he gonna do? Is he literally gonna sit out for the rest of the season? Because that doesn't make any sense. But Langa totally is gonna crash and burn. Like, he's like, even though like Langa is the one getting all the results, he's pushing himself.
JJ? Are you saying that Langa's gonna pull a JJ?
Okay, don't bring that up. Don't bring JJ is my boy. JJ is my boy. But man, Langa, like, I don't know. Like,
now all I can think of is Langa pulling a JJ.
I mean, I suppose he is, but JJ came back. JJ bounced back.
He did.
He bounced back.
JJ's the best. JJ's my favorite character from Yuri on Ice too.
Okay.
We're on the same page.
I didn't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
no, I love JJ.
Usually when I tell people that JJ is my favorite character, I get like hate, because they're like, "Oh, why JJ?"
No, man.
I'm like, "Why not JJ?"
Dude, when I was in Japan and they have all this random Yuri on Ice merchandise, like little trinkets and keychains and crap, I bought all JJ stuff. All right, because JJ style, man. I'm all about it.
Yes. I'm glad that we're at least on the same page in terms of JJ, because like, I literally don't know another person that doesn't hate JJ.
Those people are wrong. JJ is awesome. Okay, it's the best part of Yuri on Ice, clearly. But yeah, I look forward to the tournament. Can't wait. Oh, it's Titan time.
We just have so many characters this week that need to chill. Like, so many characters that just need to chill out. Like, Like,
Look at him
please,
with
Gabby.
the brick. Just beating the crap out of him with the brick in the first freaking scene. And I'm like, she starts like convulsing, and I'm like, don't do it. Don't go in there. And sure enough, she just beats him until he's dead.
And that guy, he was like so concerned. Like he knows who this kid is. He knows this kid killed Sasha, right? And when he saw her like screaming on the bed, he's like, oh my god, is something wrong? What's going on? What's going on? He was willing to like be there for her, and she killed him with a brick, and then kept beating him. Falco had to be like, Gabby, chill out. He's dead. He's already dead. Oh my god, Gabby!
You see, he's already dead.
Gabby's kill count is already higher than Aaron's. Aaron hadn't killed anybody until like season 3.
I'm so impressed that they go out into the woods and they meet this girl, and she takes him back to the orphanage in the place that's Sasha's family, and she knows the whole time that they're Marleyans because she hears them, and she's so, and I mean it's emotional, you know. She takes her to the place where her mother got eaten, and she's just so logical and trying to explain to Gabby why these people who've been here for 100 years have no idea anything about the past and didn't do anything to you. And
yeah, it's
Gabby's
like almost everybody in this episode had a relationship with Sasha. Like I think the horse in the stable was Sasha's horse. That girl was the girl that Sasha saved in last season. The guy that she first met was Sasha's dad. They're about to go into the restaurant of the guy that's in love with her. Like this was just like the ghost of Sasha coming back to haunt Gabby, and Gabby has no idea.
I feel like, and I have not read the manga, so I don't know any spoilers about this, but I feel like there's no way that Gabby's not gonna die. Like, there's no good end for Gabby. She's like too crazy and too indoctrinated, and like Falco's the one who's gonna survive and be a bridge between worlds here. But yeah, I think Gabby has a destiny to die. Like, that's just what's gonna happen.
Because like at this point, killing Sasha was huge, right? But if they had like a moment to sit down, there was a small chance that maybe Gabby can like come out of this alive. Maybe if they just talk it out. But now she's just killing random soldiers on the wayside. You know, it's like no, you need to be put down at this point. Like there's nothing we can do for you.
Yep, I think she's just destined to die, man. I mean, that's just what it is. But this was a kind of an interesting episode. I do want to know where it goes with them. They're still out there in the wild. I don't think Gabby really learned a lesson as much as just got even more freaked out and confused. So we'll see how long she lasts.
I mean, I think so. I think she at least heard that girl. That girl was like, hey, like it's literally like your anger has nothing to do with us. Like it might as well been like a different race of people. Like we have nothing to do with them. And Gabby did hear them, and that's why she started freaking out, because she understood that to be true. She just couldn't accept it. So there might be some hope that Gabby will realize that she's in the wrong here. And at the very least, she heard the girl say, hey, my mom got eaten. And now Falco is taking in Falco actually is taking in this information and using it, because he heard Aaron say, hey, my mom got eaten, and he was like, oh man, we're not the good guys here. And then he heard the girl was like, oh yeah, like that was a recon mission, like I know all the details because like I was like part of the crew. Like I wasn't there, but like I know the details, and he explained it to her, and he was like, oh, my mom died for something like that. That doesn't make any sense. He was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. No, well, okay, so I also think that I think Gabby is destined to die, but I also don't think this is quite as straightforward as we're talking about, right? So yeah, these people on this island have nothing to do with Gabby, but you have to imagine that Gabby has lived her whole life in a ghetto with people telling her that the people that she is ethnically related to are terrible humans, and she's had to internalize that and deal with that her whole life. So this is way more about like Gabby and then the rest of the people. Yeah, she's freaking crazy, and I get that. But like, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that if you're like a rising star, but you're Eldian by birth and you have to wear an armband to walk around in public and, 1,000 years of war from your people is still resonant and has caused you to have to go through this. And then you come to this place where these people that you've been taught were evil, but are also your people the whole time, have nothing to do with that. Like, that's so complex. Like, that's really complex. Like, how do you
Yeah,
even get your head around that? It's
I mean, I don't think she is. I think she's gonna hear it, but I don't think she's not
no,
gonna turn around. She's not gonna be. She's not gonna fight for them.
uh,
Falco will.
I agree.
I have
I
faith in
think
my
so
boy
too.
Falco.
Nariman points out the analogy in this show to what I'll call Aryan-looking people all over the place, and then a Jewish analog is still
Yeah.
incredibly problematic on a lot of different levels, and I agree with that. I feel like they definitely took it in a different direction, but that the glaring analog there makes it problematic to say the least. And yeah, but it's I do think Gabby is more complicated, I guess, than just being kind of nuts and really all about it. It's just how she's internalized it. It's how she's
Yeah.
internalized how to deal with it. But
But I do like seeing all the hate Gabby memes because they give me life.
they're pretty funny. Memes from the show are pretty great. Like last season AOT memes have been choice.
Yeah.
Absolutely choice, man.
I especially love all my homies hate Gabby.
All right.
All right,
Slime
we
time.
got Slime. All right, Slime I think was my favorite show of the week.
Slime was
was
really
not
interesting.
Man, I thought they were going to do the typical anime thing where like, oh, it was a cliffhanger and we come back and it was a battle and things are destroyed, but like we can recover from this. It's going to be happy next episode. They came back to attempted genocide. Like it
Yeah.
was
There's a lot of
the whole
was
village was burned
the
down. There
goblins?
were dozens of bodies in the streets, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this is a big shift for the show because a main character has besides from I forgot her name, the blue haired girl that the main character is in love with. Besides her, a main character has not died in this show at all. Like
Yeah.
hardly even any villains have died, really. So yeah, I was
a
not
lot of people
expecting
are
this.
dead. Obviously, Rinmaru survived. In a really interesting way, made a basically was it Kage whatever no
Doppelganger.
jutsu.
Yeah, he made a clone of himself.
Made a
And
clone.
then
Made a shadow clone.
yeah, so then
Kage
when
Mushu no
so
jutsu. Is that what it is?
so
Yeah.
when the shadow clone got hit with the 10th of that rainbow sword thing, when the clone got hit with the 10th strike, it doesn't have an actual soul. So what happened was when it got hit, it started like breaking down, I guess. So everything that Rimuru has absorbed in this entire series so far just became like bulging out of his
Like
body, like the
cartilage.
wolf head.
Yeah, like all.
Just yeah. So I guess that's why that happened. It's still a little weird, but whatever. They're not going to explain it. So that's how he managed to get away by making her think that she killed him when she just killed one of his clones. And he comes back to the village and sees it's just in shambles. And then
Well,
we
comes
don't know
back
what
and they
happened to
find-
Shion.
Yeah, we haven't found out what's happened to Shion, and Mulan is like the ogre dude is like trying to kill her, and the two
Yeah.
gray-haired dudes, one of which is in love with her, and the other one's his brother. Is that correct?
Well, so I mean, he calls him brother, but it's like brother. Like yeah, we're like
Okay.
we're like
I get it.
brothers in arms now. So
Yeah.
that guy's from the beast land. So the beast remember when all the beast people came over and like
Yeah.
they drank with them. They left one of their people over there. They were like, oh yeah, you're friends with them now. Like, do you want to hang out with them and like just like get information and like build relationships with our nations? So he just was left over from that crew.
Okay.
So
Well, but
yeah,
they're
those
like
two was really in the they really stuck up for Milan, even though she she doesn't deserve it. I mean, honestly, like,
No, man. There's no way.
like
Like, okay, so I get that this is all happy feely, everybody let's get along. But in a realistic sense, in this like medieval time where Rinmer is trying to like form alliances, and you've got this horrible tragedy that has affected your whole town with a bunch of like civilians getting murdered. Yeah, she needs some justice. She definitely needs to face justice because
like
you just go back to
if
your
it was
people if you just let her go, like what?
if it was just buildings being destroyed, there would have been like the possibility. Okay, we can rebuild the town. Like let's deal with the situation, and we'll talk about your punishment. Maybe you're exiled or whatever, but whatever, it's cool, right? But no, there were so many children and just goblins that were just dead in the streets, and it's like Jesus Christ. Even Rimmer was like, I'm about to kill her. Rimmer was in there. Rimmer was in the middle of the street shaking like, I'm about to kill you right now.
Yeah.
And this is the first, like, so Rimuru brought together all these different races of monsters, right? And he's pretty much done it with the utmost efficiency, and no one has ever questioned him. Like he's given them sound solutions to their problems. He's been there for them when they needed them. And he's gone out of his way in order to give them the best possible life, right? And he gave them 3 rules saying never hurt humans, don't hurt yourselves, don't fight against yourselves, even though you're different races of monsters. And I forgot what the 3rd rule, but he just gave them like really good rules to live by. That way they don't have any war with anybody. And that old guy that stood up saying that was like, hey, this happened because you gave us those rules not to harm humans and to let humans into our borders. That was literally the first time in the show anyone has ever challenged him and said, hey, you made a mistake.
Yeah.
And Rimmer was like, yeah, this seems like a bad idea now. So like Rimuru can't just be like, oh, just let her go, because like no, she undermined everything he's been building to this point. So it's like
Yeah.
she has to be executed. And I'm surprised that the show would go in this direction, honestly, because up till now it's been like, oh, all of our enemies, we're gonna like bring them into our fold and they're gonna be part of our family. And even if we fought you in a war yesterday, you're welcome in our village now. Help us build this town.
Yeah.
Nope. But yeah.
Nope. Yeah. It was a heavy episode.
I'm interested.
Honestly, I felt it was a little quick to become it, like, because you've got one episode where all of this stuff happens in, basically. Like, Rimmer gets trapped by this person who's fighting him, and then, like, there's, like, you have one episode that's setting up for it, where, like, she opens the barrier and everything goes up and all of that. But then you basically have essentially one episode of fighting, and then not a lot of resolution in this episode, which I guess we'll get several episodes of resolution, like with Shion and the 3 human people from the real world and other crap like that. But it felt really sudden. Like all of a sudden the fighting is over kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah.
Honestly, I feel like almost everyone involved in this whole situation needs to be publicly executed. Like because like do they have jails? They don't have any jails in their town. Like, what are you going to do with these people? And they're not weak enough where you can just throw them in, like, throw them behind bars. These humans could wreck the town by themselves.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. You're right. All right, Neverland. What a contentious show this week. So Neverland, to give I guess the audience and Eric, because I know you haven't read the manga, a little bit of background.
I haven't.
We talked about this before. They've skipped an entire giant chunk of the manga. Because they've done that, it makes this show really different. So you got to think when you're reading the manga and they get out of Gracefield House, right? And they meet Mukja or Sanja and the other chick, right?
Yeah.
And then they teach him some stuff, and then they go and they find the bunker. And I won't spoil anything past that because it changes from here to what it is in the anime. Then there is a span of 60 chapters, maybe more, of stuff that happens a long time. And then all of a sudden, they meet Norman again. And it's like a really impactful thing. Because you didn't know, like you go back and then Norman comes back in and you don't know. You didn't know if he was alive or dead. You kind of assumed he was still alive somewhere because he was such an integral character and stuff like that. But it's a long time, and you read a lot of manga and a lot of stuff that goes on, and you did not even come close to having that impact in the show. It's like 5 episodes ago, or 6 episodes ago, we saw Norman, and now we're seeing him again. And it's not the same. Like, it just takes the punch out of that entirely.
Yeah, like
and
even as an anime viewer, I was really surprised at how fast Norman came in.
This is supposed to be several years in the future, like several. And they've changed what they did with the bunker a bit as to what happens in what order and things like that. So it's getting panned online from manga readers, and for good reason.
So as an anime only watcher, the timing of Norman coming in feels really convenient because, like you said, like in the manga, this is after tons of things have happened. But for an anime viewer, it's like, oh, okay, like this is the next thing, and Norman's in the final stage of his plan. Like he's like, oh yeah, I'm ready to do this like tomorrow, where we're just gonna like do like execute all the monsters. And I'm like, really? Like you're ready like right now? They just conveniently like met up with you like the day before you're ready to do this? That seems very suspicious.
It's super suspicious, and a lot of this it doesn't make sense. It feels really convenient, and this season I feel like they're just botching it, and I don't know where we're going with it. But
yeah, it doesn't quite feel like botched from my perspective, but it does feel like there's things that are happening too fast and conveniently.
Well, yeah, in this one, you're right. You've got Norman jumping straight into genocide, like straight into it, not giving them any of his backstory, which is complex. You know, I mean, I was taken here. They were doing experiments on people. It was, horrifically traumatic. And then I liberated them. And I'm just going to gloss over the fact that I helped all of these people escape from this highly secure institution. We're just going to gloss right over that. I'm just going to make a line about it.
They're also, another thing that they gloss over it, but they definitely want to come back to it. The Norman that these new humans know is different than the Norman that Emma knows. And they're like, oh yeah, Norman is like this cold, calculated guy that like his word is law. I think they described him as like not a dictator, but I forgot the word they used, but they pretty much described him as, yeah, Norman says something, we do it. And everyone and Emma was like, that's not Norman. Like, yeah, Norman's like the part of our leader, but like he's not like our boss or anything. Like, and so the Norman that they know is completely different. And so right now we don't see that change in Norman, but it's very apparent that his plan that he's about to like push forward is kind of like not a symptom, but it's because he's changed over that time period, and so not actually showing that time is an interesting decision for the anime writers' perspective, because I don't know why they wouldn't just do it, because it's like it's more content. Like, don't animators want to sell stuff? Well, don't they want to air their shows?
In the chat, Nariman makes a point. They didn't want it feels like they didn't want to do a full adaptation, but also wanted to do the ending of the series, so it's not incomplete. And I could see that, but this is I feel like you're not going to get the same effect. Like it's just and it's clear from the fact that people are already panning it, because it's not handling it very well compared to what the manga was. So I'm curious to see where they go.
Those 60 chapters that you talked about, do you think those 60 chapters could have been done in one season? Or if they had gone down the right route of doing that, would they have been in like a 4-season type deal? Do you know?
So those chapters that we cut would have been a whole season, basically. And then, but there's other stuff that happened, and I don't feel like it splits cleanly into seasons, but the Goldie Pond stuff could have fit in a season. I had a theory that maybe they wanted to save it for a movie, but it doesn't make sense from the characters, because there are characters introduced in Goldie Pond arc that aren't there in this section of the anime and wouldn't make sense because you wouldn't know who they were. So I don't even know how they could do that really well.
So there should be more people in their crew that aren't there with them right now? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? No.
Yeah. There's well, I don't want to say too much because when we get done with this season, if it gets to a point, I'll explain to you what happens in the manga.
Okay.
But I don't know what they're going to pull back in. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
I'm
we skipped
suspicious
a
of
ton
Norman.
of characters. There's
Um,
there's things that happened in the bunker that we skipped. There's things that happened in an outside location that we skipped. There's things another arc that we skipped. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we skipped. But it's difficult. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I'm gonna keep watching this show. I'm gonna hope it's not gonna suck. Let's all hope that
So
it's not gonna suck.
so I was saying is I am suspicious of Norman, but I'm also suspicious of Mujika because they're planning her to be a villain. I like her though. Like I want to like her, but like I I know, like I know she's going to do something bad because everything's pointing in a direction. But I want to like Mujika. I want to like her.
Okay. There's a they left a analog for you in the chat there.
Let's see. It's like, oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad I read the manga for this though, because and you should if you get the chance, Eric, you should read the manga at some point because it's worth it. It's good. All right, ReZero. Tell me what's going on. I have no idea.
Okay, let me look back at my notes. ReZero. So okay, so Rosewall is trying to reset the world because Rosewall knows that Subaru has the power to do re back to life or whatever. He has the power to, like, whenever he dies, the world resets. So
Right.
Rosewall is like, okay, Amelia was supposed to fail here. That wasn't my intention, or that I didn't expect that. So let's just throw away this world. The world was going to end anyway because once Subaru dies, we're all going to like die, and this is a throwaway world. So he's determined to speed up Subaru's failure. That way he can start over. And so he seems going to be using the crystal somehow in order to do magic. That way he can cause a snowstorm or something that will impede Subaru. So, it seems Ram is 100% not on board with this. Ram has been his number one like servant, and she's been willing to do anything for him till this point. But it seems like Ram has only been like Ram loves him, but she loves him enough in order to be like, okay, you can't do this. This is not even beneficial to your own goal. And so the big reveal, or they kind of like sped through it pretty fast. But the big reveal this episode was that, so we already know Ram and Rim's backstory. They were in this demon village, and one day, people came to attack their village, and in the middle of the attack, Ram's horn got broken off. And Ram was supposed to be like the strongest of the two siblings. Ram's supposed to be like the one that has all the demon powers, and she can like really like do like powerful attacks, while Rim struggled to do anything. And Rim kind of had to be like, okay, well, since I can't fight, I'll at least be a good like around the house. So she learned how to cook and clean and stuff. And so when Ram's horn got broken, Ram literally, she couldn't fight anymore, and she didn't know how to clean, and she didn't know how to cook. So Ram was pretty much useless since that point, because everything that she's been working towards just got taken away from her. And the big reveal, the big reveal of this episode was that apparently Rosewall was a part of the group of people that attacked their village. And so after the attack, Ram and Rim went to Rosewall not simply because they just needed work. It seems that Rosewall pretty much said, hey, I attacked your village. Now you're my servants. And he pretty much took hostages. So it seems that was the reveal of this episode. And so I'm not sure why. And Rosewall also seemed to imply that he may have casted some type of magic, or there might be a reason why Ram and Rim were forced to be his servants. But on the other hand, it seems like Ram generally likes Rosewall, so I don't know how that plays out. But there was a lot of talking, a lot of information, like every other episode. I'm kind of
Yeah.
I'm kind of through with all the talking that they do. Every episode feels like a 20-minute pep talk or to hype up a character that doesn't need to be hyped up. Like this episode was like, oh yeah, like uh who were they hyping up this episode? Is he they go back and forth for hyping up Subaru and then Rim, Subaru, then Amelia, then back to Subaru.
Yeah.
In this episode, Amelia and Rosewall were just talking about, oh yeah, you're nothing like Subaru. Subaru is willing to tell me like to my face that I'm annoying when it's time for that. And so I don't know. It felt unnecessary. They
Yeah.
pretty much were just stalling the whole episode in order to get to the part that I feel is actually interesting, which is the castle. Now they're back at the castle, and
Yeah.
Elsa is trying to kill everybody there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a lot more interesting than all the talking that they've been doing. So I have high hopes for the next episode.
Okay.
So this is me over explaining
Yeah,
once again.
No, it's useful because we've gotten back to a point where I was following the season and I was following this season and I know a lot of what's going on now and I saw a lot of this backstory stuff and I was following all of that and now we're back in this castle thing and I'm like, oh, okay, things are happening that I have no idea what's going on. And every time Rosewell makes a speech, it doesn't make sense to me. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so Rosewall sent, or they explained the castle thing to. Are you good with the explanation? Do I have to go
I'm okay.
anymore?
I'm good with it. I'm good. I'm good with it.
Okay.
All right. Dr. Stone. This was a
All
fun
right.
episode of Dr. Stone. And Dr. Stone is never my favorite show, but this was a pretty fun episode. So yeah, Chrome is like, yeah, it's gonna be dangerous if you guys show up, so I'm just gonna escape.
He broke out
in
on
the
his own.
weirdest ways possible.
I mean, what by any means necessary. He got it done.
I'm just saying, the idea that you're gonna work out so hard that you sweat so much that you wring your clothes out to get the salt water and attach it to a battery, like, I get that it's supposed to be scientific, but I gotta suspend my disbelief quite a bit to get through this episode. Okay, like.
That's fair. And also, I think the plants he ate, or he ate so much of them that he could just like regurgitate just massive amounts of like fake blood. I'm like, that is a lot. That was quite a lot. I'm not sure. I'm not sure he could eat that much of that.
I liked the trick. I appreciated the trick a lot, but it's like, yeah. And dude, why does dude look like Kano? Why does he got to be Kano from Mortal Kombat? All right, like I left part of my like petrification on because I'm so cool.
Yeah, like I like him though. So I think so. Are we confirmed? Is it confirmed at this point that Tsukasa is not just picking children, and he's also picking up?
Yeah, I think so.
Adults?
Well, Tsukasa's problem. Because I'm gonna be honest. Tsukasa's problem is like with boomers. It's not even with like adults. It's like with like adults in power. Tsukasa's like an anarchist, and he's like, everyone over 30 must die. Like,
yeah,
you know.
So there are adults in his crew, and so this guy used to be a police officer. That another guy, like this is just a week of people that just don't know how to chill. Like another guy just couldn't chill, and it was like he took his job a little bit too seriously and just beating up like criminals left and right. And like, you can't just kill these people. Like, no, but they broke the law, and they're like, no, but we have trials for that. So now he's kind of like this rogue cop type personality.
Yeah,
but I kind of still like him though.
Yeah, I'm not so much about rogue cop. No, thank you. No, thank you, please. But you know, I did like the gag at the end.
He's a good. His being there is nice. I'll say.
I want to know where we're going. Like, I have read the manga for this, but I'll be honest, I don't remember each arc piece by piece. I want to know where we're going from here because they built the freaking gorilla tank, and now they're not going to use the gorilla tank, I guess.
No,
I don't know.
They're still gonna travel in it, and now they can ram something else. Maybe they're just gonna ram it into people. I don't know. Yeah. So the gorilla tank can always be useful, and I'm glad they get to keep it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But we still got to fight Tsukasa. We still got to get to that point. So I guess we're moving toward a battle in the Stone Wars here. That's what the title of the season is, Stone Wars. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
We got to figure out who. Well, it seems that the radio guy is the traitor, because he's the one that I think he's the one that gave Chrome the battery. Because someone snuck in a battery while he was sleeping.
Yeah, and he thinks it's the infiltrators, but it's not.
Yeah.
Senku's.
Honestly, the weird thing about Tsukasa is that Tsukasa apparently they hype Tsukasa up as being, oh, I can see all these things and I can predict what Senku is going to do. But he's like, why are you still letting the infiltrators be in the village? Like, if you're so good at predicting what's going to happen, clearly you know that they're not actually on your side. Like, clearly,
well, also, why are your generals and your grunt workers so terrible at what they do? Because all of them, other than like the 3 people at the top, basically, are terrible at what they do. Like, come on, give me a break.
So on one hand, like, it seems like he's picking the best of the best. He's selectively picking who's useful to him in his military. But at the same time, you do got to pick grunts that would just follow instructions. So I guess.
Yeah, but there's it's like everybody he has. Everybody in Science Village is fairly competent. Some people are less, but they're pretty competent.
Yeah.
There's more than 3.
I mean, but they grew up around. They grew up in a village that was built on like science. Literally, all their traditions are based on Senku's like dad saying, "Hey, kids should go out playing by collecting rocks and stuff." And like he gave them traditions that will like develop their scientific interest, kind of. So that makes sense. Tsukasa could have picked better grunts in his workforce, though.
He could. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right, our roll the wheel series this week was Miss Vampire Who Lives in My Neighborhood, and I'm beginning to think that Erik has a thing for vampire girls, because this is the second time we've had vampire girls.
So you're not wrong. I mean, vampire girl is a nice trope. Like, it's a nice trope. Like, I can name like a bunch of vampire girls that are actually pretty good. Like Corinne from Chibi Vampire is nice. I'm a big fan of Mavis from Hotel Transylvania. So I appreciate the trope. So you're not wrong.
Have you watched what's the Neko Mimimoto? Tsukiyami
Moonface. Yes, Moonface. I have the box set for that, and I have the voice actor signed on the box set. Like yeah. So yeah.
You got a thing for vampire girls. Got it. I know what Erik's into now. All right. I love Tsukiyami Moonface. That's one of my favorites, actually, with vampire girls, at least. This was cute. I mean, this was a little annoying, I'm going to be honest. Like, main human girl is pretty freaking annoying in this show. And I don't know that I could have taken.
I don't think she's annoying, but she is aggressive. She's very aggressive.
Very aggressive.
Unfortunately, you haven't even seen the second vampire girl. She gets introduced in like episode 4 or 5, and like she's awesome. But the one you did get to see is what's her name? Sophie. She's nice. I love it when vampire shows kind of like present all the cliches about vampires, but then like turn it around a bit. Like, our first show that we watched was Actually I Am. They were like, oh yeah, I can't go out in the sun, and they're like, oh, do you melt in the sun? Oh no, vampires just get tan easy. Okay, all right. Yeah. And then Miss Vampire is like,
when she's like drifting away in the sun.
Oh yeah, it's like she kind of fades away in the sun. But like when they were asking, oh yeah, is it true that vampires can't go into someone's home? He says, oh yeah, we can't, because we get filled with so much guilt over it, like going into someone's home uninvited. Like, you can't do that. I'm like, oh yeah, you can't do that. She's right.
I thought it was pretty cute. I liked what we watched. Are they all lesbians? Is that the thing? Because it feels like it.
Yeah.
The girlfriend is also like, like, oh, I don't like you're hanging out with this little vampire chick. I don't want you to be hanging out with a boy. I hope it's not a boy, and it's not a boy. You're all just
there's not a straight character in the show. There's not a straight character in this whole show.
No, it was cute. It was cute. So good choice. Good choice. I appreciate it. Definitely different than a lot of the other stuff we watched on Spinning the Wheel. But speaking of spinning the wheel,
It's that time again.
It is. Are you ready? You
Wheel.
ready?
Turn. Tell us the anime that we'll have to watch.
We got like 7 or 8 things left. All right, 3. Do you know what 3 is? Tell me what 3 is, Eric.
Is it your brother's show? Is it your brother's show? Oh my god.
Yay!
Oh my god. You've been eager to watch this Dear Brother show since the first week we done this.
A little confession. I'm on episode 20. I've been watching it for the last 2 weeks on the treadmill, and I really it's weird. It's interesting. This is very different than the other shows we've watched that were my picks. So be prepared. So we're gonna be watching.
Jess says that Dear Brother is a show that's not actually bad. I don't really believe her, but all right, I'll give it a chance. So you said Dear Brother is on Retro Crush?
Yeah, the show is called Dear Brother. It's on Retro Crush. I'll message you afterwards if you want to maybe see it without commercials. Nothing illegal. I'm just going to share passwords like a good millennial because I pay for Retro Crush. So I'm paying for it this month. And yeah, but you want to watch it. There's like 4 commercials that are like 30 seconds to a minute long every single break in every single. You don't want to watch it with commercials. You want to watch it without the commercials. But Dear Brother is from like the late 80s, early 90s. It is heavily inspired by Rose of Versailles and that kind of Takarazuka all women's play kind of style, where basically almost the entire cast is women, and some of them play a more masculine role. It's like about an all-girls school, and it's about this little girl. She's getting into high school, and she starts going to this prestigious, like, all-girls high school that usually you come up through, like, their middle school, but she, like, tested in or whatever, her and her friend. And she meets the elites of, like, the elite seniors, and they're all wispy and fabulous, and, like, it's very shoujo. I mean, like, it's very classic, old school 1970s, 80s shoujo kind of thing. And it's real dated, and I love it. I'm enjoying every single second of it. Yes, they are kind of noodly people. They all have giant long appendages and legs that go to the ceiling. And yeah, it's pretty fabulous. So give it a go.
So I love how this week is supposed to be about Miss Vampire who lives in the neighborhood, but Jess was like, "Oh yeah, that show's cute. Let's spin the wheel. Let's get Dear Brother out here." And you spend all this time talking about Dear Brother when this week is supposed to be about the vampire girl. But okay, Jess.
The vampire girl was cute, but I didn't feel like there was a lot to talk about with it. You know?
No, you're right. You're right. I'm just giving you crap. You're like, spin this wheel. Get Dear Brother out here.
Thanks for the sub, Lee. How many vampires? So far as I know, there are no vampires in Dear Brother. There are a bunch of wispy women. So,
but if you're talking about the Miss Vampire, there were 2. There were 2 vampires in there.
Yeah. I look forward to Eric's next vampire show, which I'm sure will be coming on
There's
another
no more
episode.
Vampire shows. There's no more vampire shows, but there is another isekai on there. There's at least one more isekai.
Okay. All right.
Never a shortage.
On my list, you've still got the worst anime I've ever seen coming up. So I really am excited. The second best response on the wheel would have been the worst anime I've ever seen, which would have been 4. If we'd have rolled 4 instead of 3, that would have been great.
Oh my god! Why did you pick bad shows? Why did you pick bad shows?
I'm not telling what the worst anime I've ever seen is until we roll it. When we roll it, you'll know. You'll know exactly, because I'm going to tell you when we roll it, but I'm not giving you any advance notice on what it is. Okay.
I tried to provide good content for the chat and the watchers, and Jess was like, "I just wanted to see people suffer through this nonsense."
I do.
We had to watch. We had to watch what was the show from last week? What was it? The show where everyone was getting karma.
Colorful.
Oh
yes.
I couldn't stand that show.
I should have put Golden Boy on my list. Man, I should have put
I've
Golden
seen
Boy
Golden
on my
Boy.
list.
Golden Boy is good. That's
I
not a
love
bad
Golden
show.
Boy.
All right.
But that's all we got for this time. Next week we'll be doing Anime Book Club. It's always 7 p.m. on Eastern on Thursdays. And I mean Anime Dinner Club, because apparently there's demand for me to eat things on stream. And Mom says we can feed Erik too. So apparently you're getting fed
Just
to
gonna
Erik.
just
So
gonna come over to my apartment and say, hey, this is for 7 p.m. Don't eat it early. No.
Yes, Darius, the Panty Shot movie. It's actually like 6-minute episodes. It's like 16 6-minute episodes. But yeah, it's hilarious, okay? And terrible. Parts of it are terrible, but parts of it are hilarious. So, but yeah.
All right.
Double mukbang. Yes. See, we're going to just shove our faces with food, Erik. That's what's going to happen.
All right.
Thank you guys
So
for
now
watching.
I'm gonna watch all Thursday shows. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
All right. Bye, everybody.